1, 2, 3. Okay, just have some fun.
I think you're.
Are we good? Are we happening? Are we here? Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, it's time for tips once again. Kevin, director, tell me we're doing good. He's working on it. He's looking
We're
hard.
having some stream issues.
Oh, man, I tell you what. Okay, everybody, just start drinking. We'll get to it later. And
Carolyn says she can hear us.
okay, we're looking. We're going
We're
good.
back to stream is back to excellent. All right.
You guys, we have been scrambling here like you wouldn't know, and that's what we do at Brutocao. We make it happen one way or the other. Trust me. You've never seen 3 fat men run so fast in your life. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Which one isn't fat?
Kevin.
There's 4.
Well, I give Lenny a break. He's a new guy.
I'm halfway there.
He's halfway there. He's pudgy. How's that? He's the pudgy guy. Anyway, hey guys, welcome to Back to the Tips. It's another Thursday night edition. It is a very special edition. Look what I got in front of me here, all right? This is our Legacy night. We're introducing our new Legacy package and the Legacy wines. And it's a family affair for sure. This is an awesome night. I feel very privileged to have all 3 of the brothers here tonight to give us all 3 facets of the winery and vineyard and everything going on and introducing this Legacy collection to you. So first off, let's introduce from our vineyards, of course, is Len Brutocao, head of all the vineyards.
Cheers.
Cheers. And we have David Brutocao, who's in charge of production, who's my boss, so I got to be really nice to him.
Hello.
And then, of course, Steve, who you guys have seen before, who's in charge of, does all the marketing and everything else and keeps us all in line. So, hey, Steve.
Hello, everybody.
And, of course, our master engineer over there, director, producer of all, Kevin Brutocao.
We think it's working now.
Oh, we think it's working. That's good. All right. If you guys can hear Kevin very good, let us know. We'll throw something at him, all right? Okay, tonight's a very important night to us. It's a very special night for all of us here at Brutocao Cellars. Brutocao Family Vineyards, I guess is what I should say, because tonight we are talking about family. And we're talking about what's happening. Part of this is our Legacy collection. So what we're going to do is, our wines have been open for a while. If you have Legacy wines, I hope you already opened them. Pour yourself a glass of whatever Legacy wine you want. We're going to start with the Coro, work our way through all 3 of them, and enjoy as we go through and talk about these wines, talk about who their legacy behind those wines a little bit. And I guess first off, let's start with why we started this. I guess, Steve, this is your show now.
Well, I think we started the Legacy collection. The family got together, of course, with Hoss, who's a part of our family, and we said we want to do something to honor the folks that came before us. And many of you have heard the story of Irv Bliss, our grandpa, of my mom, Marty, picking grapes on the property, our dad, Len, the mover and shaker behind everything we've done. And we said they've worked so hard and they've had such passion in their lives to give us the life that we've had and to give us the opportunity to make very, very special wines for you. I think Hoss has enjoyed making them. We're all going to enjoy drinking them. But I think that's the main reason, just to kind of capture in the bottle what they've done for all these years. And the legacy will continue. That's the goal. We'll continue their legacy in the bottle in vintages to come. So that's my reason why we did it. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in.
Well, I think part of that, too, is we want to keep the family. It's really a tale of 2 families. We've got Grandpa Irv from the Bliss side, bringing the love of the land and the farming, the land we've been taking care of for over 80 years now. Wow. And then we've got the Nono Leonard side, Brutocao family, bringing the love of wine and the heritage of Italy. And I think that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
Keeping the family melded.
Yep.
Moving all that through.
And I think for me too, I think we wanted to showcase the wines, show what we could do with the wines when we do a limited production wine, hand selecting grapes, hand selecting barrels. I mean, all starting with the farming, but coming through the winemaking, just something that would be special, that would stand out, and that's kind of what thought of when we created these wines.
I know for me it was the same thing. It's about the family. It's like we're sitting around here, and with you guys sitting at our table, with wine glasses in front of us. Which I think we need some wine, Steve. Let's start with this Coro. But the whole idea is about it's about family. It's about traditions. And I've told the story before that my family actually has been involved from early on with Irv Bliss, and my grandfather actually helping Irv clear the property for Irv to plant on. And the story is that as my dad told me, my grandfather blew a tree stump all the way over the top of the 175 freeway from one side to the other. He was a little Italian, loved to play with dynamite, so that's the whole idea. So I think, first off, more than anything else, I think a little toast to family. So salute to all you guys and to all of us here tonight. So salute and a little sip of Coro wine. So Coro is probably the best essence to start this off with, because it's about the legacy of the farmers and the families who came to Mendocino County, who started growing all these grapes and bought these properties, and from the old suitcase grafts that came in and started all this. And it's that legacy of keeping it going forward. To do that, I mean, I don't know. The Brutocao family was very instrumental in starting Coro. They were one of the founding families who were kind of involved with in the winemaking and getting Coro organization. All the Coros used to actually be bottled in this building that's next to us here at the winery early on, because everybody had such small lots and we had a bottling line. It was like a big party. So everybody brought their lots in and bottled it, and big labeling parties were also here. So we've been a big part of Coro for over 25 years now, right? Yeah, 24 years.
It
I
was
guess
2001 was the first vintage.
Yeah, so this all started in 2000. 2001 was the first vintage. So over 20 years we've been doing this. And as you say, our Coro, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 straight years, 90 plus points, right? On the Coro, if I remember correctly. 8.
He's using his fingers.
Yeah. Don't take your shoes off. 8. Yeah, so 8 straight years for 90 plus points. And so even the critics think that Coro is a very worthwhile wine that we all love. So, I mean, what do you guys think about the Coro program? How's the Coro program and the Brutocao family?
Well, I was part of the original, a bunch of marketing guys getting together over at Fetzer, actually, and we all were kicking it around, and it was, I remember Dennis Patton, and he's a longtime guy, and a number of other folks, and it was like, what are we trying to do? What's the mission statement? And the mission statement was to promote Mendocino County wines. What's the best way to do that? What did we do the best, and what are we most known for? And it was Zinfandel, but we didn't want to make it a Zinfandel, and that's why it cannot be. And Hoss knows the rules better than I do anymore, but cannot be more than 70% Zinfandel. So the threshold would be 75, where you could call it Zinfandel. So that was a very important part. But we wanted also the old world varietals to get into it, and that's what Hoss has been great at doing, and the other wineries have as well. And so that's really what the essence of Mendocino is a lot of, of course, Zin and the old world varietals, and that gets back to legacy, and that's why I think it's part of our legacy series. And the leadoff wine tonight is because, Grandpa Bliss planted vineyards back in the 40s. A lot of these other wineries that are part of this have done the same, and they're doing old family, family blocks of wine, and you're tasting legacy in the Coro. So it's a natural fit for us. We've changed the labels, like many of you guys will see, but it's. I think it's been great. I've loved every minute of it.
I mean, for the vineyard aspect, though, I mean, because we have such unique vineyards, every Coro is so unique. You got to remember, Mendocino County was the grape growing region of the world last year, and there's a reason why. It's because we do all this. I mean, land farming, it's very unique here compared to other areas.
And so many different soils that we have to deal with and get to deal with, because they all do something different for the grape.
That's for sure. What do we have? Like, we have some blocks that have 3-4 different soils.
Yep.
And it's coming through going through and doing different things with those and tasting all those. And David, you taste with me all the time. We're tasting. You can see those differences.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Oh yeah.
And that's what makes it really unique to farming in Mendocino County, and it makes it a lot of fun. We taking all these wines and tasting all these wines, and like this Coro right here, one of the things that's very unique to me in this wine is that how you have all those different, the cherry colas and that beautiful plum in the nose that I get. And the thing that makes me most excited is that if you guys have ever had Mexican hot chocolate, that Mexican dark chocolate, that spicy dark chocolate, I love that note that's in the mid palate of this wine, and it just comes through. It's something that just, it makes it very different. I have yet to submit this for scoring. It's going to be going in here very shortly. I'm very excited to see how this wine does. I love the flavor profile. I love the food pairings that could go with this wine. I mean, here's the thing. We all don't look like this because we hate food, right? And we all have very different tastes, and everybody thinks they make the best food. Well,
I do.
David won the risotto contest, but I'm not going to say anything, all right? It was, but anyway, to just say that.
Great.
But I was going to say, so one of the things we're doing tonight is we're talking about the legacy. We're talking about the wines. We're also going to be talking about a lot of food. So I don't know. Steve, why don't you start us off? What food would you cook with this?
So I'll leave the Italian stuff to them. Last night we had country ribs, and I think that would have been great with this. And it was just something we threw together in a Dutch oven with a little cinnamon. You didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
And
I knew it.
little homemade barbecue sauce, and it was great. And I wish we'd have served it on polenta because that would have been really nice. But I think something like that, so essentially a barbecue. I think
the cinnamon played in because I taste like a little nutmeg in this too.
And that's that barrel. That's that barrel that we have that we have a specialty barrel that's only made for us. And that has that Eastern European oak in it, American oak, and French oak. We call it our P105s, but it has that spicy root beer spice that has those cloves and cinnamons in it, and that adds that little extra character to the wines. Because for me, I made lamb loin chops with Chinese 5-spice. There's a lot of clove in that. It would have just rocked with this wine.
Yeah.
And it was just a quick grill, nice rare lamb chops and I do that with a little bit of fresh ground garlic on top of it. But I love using different salts, and salts make such a big difference for me. And I was using red volcanic clay salt from Hawaii on top of that because that adds a little minerality to go with those different spices, and then fresh cracked pepper. It was just like, this wine would have just rocked its world for sure. I think like that. I don't know. So, I mean, David, what are you cooking lately, you think?
I mean, shoot, I'd have this wine with anything. This is so good. But I think I was thinking like a grilled salmon might go really well with this. And I get this rub that's got a like brown sugar and salt and pepper and some other spices in it. I think it'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. So you're saying this is the Thursday night, every night wine?
Could be.
All right, Len, what are you cooking
I'm
with
going
this?
Italian.
Yeah.
So I think homemade gnocchi with a little bit of a kick to a red sauce, a little Calabrian chili in the red sauce.
Puttanesca.
Well, not necessarily
too much
that, not that caper olive
Yeah.
thing, but more of just like garlic and basil and crushed tomato.
Yeah.
And a little Calabrian chili.
Yeah.
You know what? Ken's Italian sausage that he makes. So Ken Richter, you guys, the Richters who are a big part of this, other part of this family, who do everything, and they all make these. We have an elk sausage that Ken makes, and it's all these different sausages. But that Italian sausage, the last Italian sausage I got from Ken, would just make this wine sing also because it's nice. It's got that nice red pepper flake, and I mean pasta goes with everything. That's the best part about it. So, that's what's fun. So. And yes, we are doing technical things all the way through this program
Yes,
because
we
that's
are.
how we roll. So, but I don't know. I mean, for me as a winemaker, Coro is very special. It's a very special wine. It has all those essence to where today was our final Coro tasting for the 2024s and everything passed. And they're very special when you sit down with a bunch of other winemakers and listening to them critique your wine and throw out a little, it's like, oh, the tannins are a little bit heavy here, but I'd still drink it. You got to love that. I mean, we nitpick the smallest little minute details of a wine. But overall, we said, well, would you drink it? Oh, yeah, I'd drink this all night long type of a thing. So that's how this wine works, and it's a lot of fun to make it and to follow through. And I feel that the legacy of Mendocino County is well represented by the Coro project, for sure, going through and moving forward. And I think the Brutocao family has been without the Brutocao family, it wouldn't be as strong as it was, because you guys have been there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I know we'll talk more about your dad some other time, but he was a very important figure as far as Coro moving forward also, and some of the other families that goes to that. And you guys have heard the Coro story more than once. If you haven't, there's very special Coro videos out in YouTube land from Coro Mendocino itself. And plus, when we did our own Coro program in Tips back in 2020, if I remember correctly. So
I think one of the things on Coro that I found in the first couple of years was how the winemakers used to know each other a little bit. They'd see each other at tastings 2, 3, 4 times a year, but they never really sat down and broke bread all that much together, and never drank wines. And this brought them together 2 or 3 times a year.
A little bit more,
and it became a collaboration of ideas and efforts, and then they became friends and helping each other. And so it's, you know, the all the boats rise. What's that saying? But anyway, it really became
Tide rises all boats.
Tide rises all boats, and I think all the wines are better in Mendocino, and not just the Coro. I think Hoss has probably learned from a number of winemakers, and I think they've learned a lot from Hoss.
We all go back and forth. As you can see, the package has changed. We're not using all the same label, but the Coro, the cartouche will always be on there to let you know it's a Coro. We've gone more towards the like Chateauneuf de Pop. There's certain elements that will be on every label, but everybody gets to use their own label now. And that was always the plan in the beginning, is that eventually it would become more of your own brand. And now we've gone that route. So I mean, that's our Coro Mendocino for sure.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you recall that season, the growing season, bud break came pretty normal. A lot of early spring rain before bloom. Got the moisture in the ground, gave it a nice kickstart. Everything was looking great. Nice mild temperatures all through summer. The crop looked good. And then last week of August, first week of September, we got a heat wave. We hit 122 degrees one day. Wow.
We were halfway. The aeration was full on.
Oh yeah.
We were there, and it was like, oh my God.
We ended up dropping like 25% of our fruit from sunburn on the afternoon sun side of the vines. Just couldn't handle it. I mean, we tried to do everything.
I remember we were running overhead irrigation to cool our vineyard down. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a Pinot. The Pinot would have just been fried because it couldn't handle the heat. We were actually cooling off, not just that, we were actually doing a Chardonnay too. We were cooling off the vineyards because it was so hot, it was just frying everything. And we were running irrigation in the afternoon, the frost protection irrigation over the top of the vines.
So the heat that they had to survive, the grapes that we left on that were nice, but the heat that they survived, and then the dropping of the fruit, how did that play into this wine?
Well, I think one of the things is that why the fruit's a little bit darker in this Coro than you've seen some of our other Coros, because some of the other Coros are a little bit, it's bright. It gets very bright fruit. This Coro is a little bit darker. That's why you hear me talk a lot about plums and colas in this one, where I haven't talked about as much. I think that helped with also, it concentrated them a little bit more. It did hurt us in some areas because there were some varietals that were harder to use because the alcohols started, because the sugars just shot through some stuff. And we did have a little bit of that sunburn effect in some varietals that we had to be very careful with, that we didn't get before. But here's the other thing. Here's the advantage to machine harvesting sometimes. And that's because it leaves all the raisins behind. Because the raisins harden up and grab onto that stylus. They don't come off, so when we come through, you get all that nicer fruit, and it leaves rotted fruit or raisins behind. So some of our vineyards really benefited from doing that. Most of the Coro fruit, of course, is all handpicked, and we sorted. Remember? Oh yeah. You might have dropped 25%, but we threw another 25% out after that, out of the bins as they were picking it, because it was just we really hand selected a lot of fruit to make this Coro. There was a lot, when I say Brutocao and Bliss wines are handcrafted, they are. And it's me being out there working with Lynn, doing all this stuff, talking with David, and then when it comes to the other side, I'm talking with Steve saying, hey, look, this is what I'm seeing. They're handcrafted. We're all touching these wines somehow, some way, and all working together to make them come out that way. So 2020 was one of those years that you guys might have all been inside. We weren't. or 22 rather. Yeah.
What? How? If you guys remember, how long after that heat wave did we pick them? Did they hang another 3 weeks or so?
Well,
or?
It was an early
The
harvest.
Zinfandel, actually,
Zin.
we picked
Yeah.
like mid-October.
Yeah.
October?
Mid-October, yeah. So they last. They stay
They
on.
had-
5-6 more weeks then.
Yeah. But Merlot, we picked earlier than normal.
And you know why? Remember, because the benefit is those are all head prune vines.
Yeah.
So they had a better canopy and they had more protection. It's like, think about an umbrella instead of just a vertical line. We had this beautiful umbrella of shade, so we were able to hold that fruit a lot better, you know. And it was a crazy vintage. There's no doubt. It's one of those years.
Every year
Why don't you guys pour the next glass? And I have a question for you having to do with Coro. It's a perfect timing for. Is the Legacy Coro in addition to or a new iteration of the Brutocao Coro that's blind tasted by the consortium? So what makes this Coro different other than the label change by the Coro organization? What are we doing here?
Not a thing. We're just elevating it up. So basically what we're doing is that we're talking about, it's still the same Coro, but Coro we've always considered Brutocao Coro our reserve wine. It's always been our reserve Zinfandel. If you remember in the past, Brutocao had a reserve Zinfandel. We have taken that reserve Zin out and said now it's Coro. Coro's reserve Zin. So we've elevated it in name mainly, but the quality, I think, of the Coros in the past have always been at that legacy level that what we're shooting for now. It's always been a very handcrafted barrel select wine, and that's how Coros are always made. So, you know, that's what we're looking at here. And we'll talk about barrel selection, and as we move through here, we'll talk a little bit more about how these wines are put together, I think. So what's next here is the Legacy Merlot. I think that's what we just got.
That's
poured.
the Merlot. Look, I finished mine.
And if anyone has anything left in their glass at home, you can revisit it. Let's move on to the Merlot now.
Yeah.
Or just live through us vicariously. It's fine. We all do the same. All right. So this is the Legacy Collection. So, of course, Coro is part of that. And now we're going to get into the Legacy Collection itself. So which one of you guys want to talk about why? Who's this Legacy Collection? What is the Legacy Collection for Brutocao?
Well, this honors Grandpa Irv Bliss, if that's what you're asking. And David knows the story a lot better than I do because he's older. But bought the property in 1943. Why don't you take it and run with it?
Yeah. So our grandfather, he was a chemist, metallurgist by trade. That's what he studied in college. Went to Cal Berkeley. That's where he met my grandmother. And after, I'm not sure how many years in that industry, probably 8 or 10 years,
something like that. Yeah.
he kind of decided he really didn't want to work in a lab the rest of his life. He wanted to be outside. He wanted to be a farmer. He always had a love of the land. And so he kind of got on a search to find property. And he used to just go out. I mean, at the time they were living in Berkeley. They moved up to Healdsburg, and he bought some property there and started farming that land. And that's where our mom grew up. But from there, he was constantly on the look for other farmland that he could acquire. And he and his brother would go out on drives, and they'd just look at property and just drive around. And not that, anything that they would find necessarily is for sale. They just, they happened to be driving through Hopland one time and came across this property here that that's part of our ranch now, and thought, gosh, what a beautiful piece of property this is. Wouldn't it be great if we could own this? And obviously it wasn't for sale at the time. This was probably in the late 30s, I think. Anyway, a few years later, he hears about a tax auction up in Mendocino County. And there's properties for sale, and he hears about a property that he can afford. It was you basically go up to the county clerk, you post a bid with I think it's 10% of the price that they're looking for, which that price was $20,000. So he came up with $2,000, put in a bid at the county clerk's office, and ended up getting the property. Didn't know what he bought, sight unseen. He bid on it and figured, okay, I'll do something with it. When he got his successful bid, he went and looked at the property that day, and it turned out to be that same property that he and his brother looked at a few years earlier, which is what we now call the Bliss Ranch. He farmed that for many years, planted grapes. He had other things up here too. I think he had walnuts and other tree crops. I don't remember
Prunes,
everything. He probably had
Yeah,
prunes here
and
too.
some sheep, I think.
Because I know he had prunes down in Healdsburg. But anyway, that's how he got into farming in Hopland, and how this particular property became what we now know as the Bliss Ranch.
And where he parked that day on Old Toll Road, the Merlot is right there. That's where we.
That's true.
So to pull it back to the Merlot, that's
wasn't there at the time.
wasn't there at the time,
yeah.
but it's planted there now.
And where the Zen
And
comes
where the Zen
for
comes
the
from.
for the Coro. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back in that corner.
That old wine, or old world block, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
So that's great. So Irv Bliss is the reason why. So we're celebrating your guys' legacy, or the Brutocao Bliss family legacy, with these wines, and we're naming those. So this is the first vintage, which is the 2020 vintage, so it's all Irv Bliss. With the cab and a Merlot that we're doing. So that's why tonight we're talking a lot about Irv. Irv Bliss is the reason why this winery stands here today, why the vineyards are here today, and why the Brutocao family is here in Mendocino County. I mean, it's because of that. So how did we go from Brutocao to Bliss, or how did we go from Bliss to Brutocao, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Dad got involved, he was Italian. He wasn't going to name the wine Bliss at that point.
I'm sorry. Who was the Bliss
Marty.
that brought the Brutocao in?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to, that's where I'm going here, right?
Mom, yeah.
Your guys' mom. So,
Mom,
I mean,
Mom picked grapes on this ranch. She's, I guess I don't tell how old she is, but she's 91, and she's going strong. And she lives right up the hill from us.
Yeah.
We'll see her. We'll all see her again
So
tonight. But
it's funny because I got on the marketplace and said, so Marty Bliss, which we call Martha, it's Marty, right? So it's Marty Bliss married Lynn Brutocao. And everybody go, no, that wasn't like that. It's Martha. So anyway, so we always have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, so that's the Bliss Brutocao connection as far as that goes. And your mom actually picked grapes.
She picked
on
grapes
this property,
on this
right?
ranch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Florida selling wine about a month ago, and I had an older fella in one of the wine shops that we sell there, and he said, "So is your mom Marty?" And I said, "Yeah, my mom's Marty." And he said, "Oh, I've read all about her," because Kevin's done a great job of putting the family history. And,
Awesome.
And when I went and told her that, she just beamed. That she's got she's 91. This guy was probably 80, and he has a crush on her. So I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway.
So when we're making these wines, so like with Coro itself, it's very barrel select. We look at individual barrels out of a lot to put this together. You got to remember we're talking about 100 cases each of these wines. That's it. 4 barrels. 4 barrels makes each one of these wines. So when we're looking at that, we're looking at we're tasting all these individual barrels, and you've seen our different videos on social media and on YouTube of us doing these tastings with all these glasses out there, and that's what that is. And while we're making those tastings and tasting everything out there, we're making notes that this would be for this program, this goes to this program, or this is really special. This barrel we need to maybe take a look at. And that's why, depending upon these certain French oaks that we use, the certain American oaks, or the specialty barrel that I was talking about, they all have a part of this wine. So one of the things I really love, this is my favorite block of vineyard. People ask me what my favorite wine is, and my answer is always what you buy, okay? But this is my favorite block, and it's our Block 20 Merlot, and it is just a gorgeous block. It's what makes Torrent. A little bit of it always sneaks into our Brutocao Cabernet also, just to help it out just a little bit more, adds that little bit of nuance. but it's something about that Merlot and that block. It's just made for Merlot, and it's that little bit of it's got that nice little licorice note that's always in there, and you always know it's there, and that dark plum. And there's always that little bit of plum note that I love. And it's that lusciousness. You know it's a Merlot. And Merlot has gotten a bad rap for different reasons, but it's coming back strong. And this is the reason why. It's wines like this, because it shows what Merlot actually is. This wine is pretty much 99% Merlot. I say that because when we top, little pieces of other stuff comes in, we're topping barrels. So, but it is basically, for argument's sake, 99% Merlot. It's there all from that one block, but it's really barrel selection and yeast selection that when we're out there and we're looking at the vines and we're tasting the grapes and tasting them, and when they come into the winery, we're tasting it again, going, I want to use this yeast to accentuate that one aspect of it. And we do that, and you start that program, then you go, okay, I know these barrels, this barrel with this wine is going to be really great. So we have that one barrel that does that. And so by putting all those pieces of the puzzle together at the end, a year later, now we taste the individual barrels and we see where we're at. And that's where the blending process comes. And that's where we start looking at what we want to do. And it may not happen every year, but you find those special wines. You go, this one's special. This one needs to go together. We're going to make that happen because it is special and it is a little bit more than the other wines.
So this was in barrel for how long? And I'm putting you on the spot for you to remember because we make so darn many wines.
These are actually in barrel for almost 28 to 30 months for this one.
Yeah.
We're now on a barrel program. Our barrel programs are anywhere from 24 to 36 months. This one was actually closer to 30 months.
And you're not getting this overpowering oak at all, which none of us like oak. I mean, Hoss has some fun sayings of, we use oak as a tool, not a weapon, and I use that when I'm out selling wine. But you're just getting the fruit, and you're getting the vineyard, and you like to capture that. But being in oak that long, I mean, maybe you explain what profile of oak it is, how many new barrels versus, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, because you're not getting an overpowering oak. We don't love oak. I mean, it's in there. I know it enhances the wine, but anyway, I'll let you talk.
Well, our oak program generally goes anywhere from 20% to 40%. It just depends on the wines, I'll be honest with you. So by vintage.
New.
But the thing, new oak, yes. And the whole idea is that it's oak, that if the wine can take it, and the oak, it depends on the oak barrels we're using, because we're very select. And that's why we do those mass tastings, because we're evaluating the barrel at the same time. We're trying to see what it gives to our different wines and our growing in our vineyard, our terroir, right? So that's what's important. So it accentuates the fruit, and that's the biggest thing is I tell people all the time, we're grape growers first. All of our family heritage and lineage is grape growing. Wineries were second. Vinifying was second. It was always something we did at home in my family, but it was always growing grapes and selling grapes first. And we sold grapes to, like, my family and your family both. We sold grapes to almost every winery imaginable in Sonoma and Napa, including Mendocino County. But that's what the whole idea here. And then we brought it back home. So it's the grapes, the flavor profiles I taste in a vineyard is very important to me that you taste in a glass. And I think you do with these wines. And that's the whole idea. So the oak is there to lift up and enhance what's all there. So those little vanillas, those little tobaccos, those little clove spices or root beer spices I talk about, all those different nuances are there to show you another part of the vineyard always. Never to show a barrel. We don't sell barrels. We sell grapes. And this is just another way of us selling grapes, is by enhancing that. And making sure that we're carrying on the heritage that we've all grown up with, and for the future of all our families.
So say that again. True. We don't sell barrels; we sell grapes. I love that. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah, that's good. So you guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
Copywriting that.
Yeah.
I get royalties.
Yeah.
Just remember.
How about the food?
I don't know. What food? All right, David, your turn. Come on.
Gosh.
What food?
What would I do with this? Probably maybe like a pork tenderloin or something like that, or
Oh, I can see that.
some kind of a grilled meat.
What about yours?
Well, I'm picking up some cherry notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think duck breast with a cherry sauce,
Oh yeah.
That would be good.
something like that. Not going Italian this time.
Not going to time. Well, I was thinking anything with mushrooms. I just always love Merlot with mushrooms. So maybe a chicken or veal marsala, but
Or maybe my mushroom risotto,
No,
that
it
won the
didn't win.
contest.
did
The
not
winning
win.
mushroom risotto, I think that would go really good. I'll be honest with you, I would drink this with a bowl of Cheerios right now.
Would you pour it on the Cheerios?
Well, I
No. I
Yeah,
would make
on the
Cheerios.
side.
I would actually do a bowl of Cheerios for my wife and then drink the bottle of wine. No, what I'm thinking about, something we've been doing lately is grilling big portobello mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
Right, grill those, and then take like cherry tomatoes, roasting those with some like Mediterranean spices and garlic, and then making like a topping on for the top. Put that on top of that with a fresh piece of burrata, and this wine I think would just be killer. So, because with the different spices in there, because I marinate the mushrooms with balsamic vinegar and really nice olive oil, Brutocao olive oil. You know, and especially the lemon olive oil makes it really good. So you get that brightness, and it makes like this beautiful. It's a beautiful presentation, but you get all these different textures, and it's all, you know, it's vegetarian, but to some extent, I guess it's vegetarian. It's not vegan, right? So, but the thing is I love all those flavor combos.
You know, I think the fact that we all went in a different direction just shows how user-friendly these wines, not just the Merlot, but all of our wines are, because I mean, big, huge, bold, over-the-top cabs, they have a place. Like, we'll get to the cab, but they have a place, but it's a pretty limited place, and you pretty much are limited to what you can serve. But, boy, I mean, we could have any.
So what would Irv say about this wine?
You know what he would like?
What?
Chicken.
Grandpa?
Grandpa would.
What?
Grandpa.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He
Say it.
loved chicken. He made chicken all the time.
What's the matter with chicken?
Yeah. You eat chicken so much. What's wrong with chicken?
That became one of our grandpa-isms.
Yeah.
And what's the matter with chicken? Like, what do you want for dinner? What's the matter with chicken?
chicken.
Yeah. We
That's
got a
too
few
funny.
good grandpa-isms.
Yeah.
What, you want to jump in there anymore?
No, that's all right. We'll save that.
Save it for the next
I gave
one.
you one.
We do have some questions.
All right.
So we have soon-to-be graduate from the Air Force Academy, AJ Post, asking about what the bricks are of these grapes at harvest and how does that compare to other vintages.
That's a good question.
2022.
2022 was a higher
No,
bricks.
2020.
No,
I'm sorry.
2022 for the Coro were higher bricks
Yeah.
than everything else.
No.
I'll answer that question this way. We pick on flavor, not on numbers. So, because they come in, usually the Merlot vineyard, probably I would say on average 24 to 25 bricks, usually when we bring it in, because some parts of the vineyard are higher, that are closer to the creek, heavier rocky soils. So they get a little bit more dehydrated than the stuff closer to the road, which has a little more acid. So that's what balances out that whole vineyard a little bit. But overall, I would say all these are picked with around the 24 to 25 bricks range every year, you know.
Now, that year was a very light crop for everything. We were 30 to 40% down.
Oh,
2020, yeah, because that was one of the drought years.
So Merlot was picked like the first week of September.
I was going to say, we're
the
done
cab was
picking
all
like the
done.
second week of October, right?
First week of October, we were done with the cab.
Explain that why, because a lot of people might not know why.
Okay, so we had early bud break, and bloom came. So bloom came earlier. We got some rains during bloom, which caused some shattered, lighter,
Lighter crop.
fruit set. So less fruit, more concentration, but they ripen quicker. The season kind of just moved along. The rest of the year went pretty
Well,
well.
80
if I
degree
remember right.
days started in March, right?
Yeah.
Because you need so many days at 80 degrees to ripen
Yeah.
fruit, but usually we start counting 80-degree days like into April.
Degree days start generally April 1st, but
Yeah.
those degree days start
February 1st, something like that. Anyway, yeah, it was a crazy year. We got all our rain in 1 month again.
Yeah.
So, and again, that was part of the drought, the drought years we have. Yeah.
You know, back to the question, I think it's a great question. And I like to tell people that Hoss, AJ knows what a refractometer is. Hoss has one. I don't think he's looked through it in 12 years probably, because a refractometer is what you measure the sugar levels of grapes. And again, you never bring it out. You know,
It sits in my truck every year.
Yeah. And then the other part of tasting grapes is David eats so darn many. We'd have 120 cases, but on the crush pad, David's constantly eating grapes. And Hoss is so sick of grapes, he never eats them on the crush pad, but David takes his share.
I don't eat them the rest of the year.
Yeah.
It's my breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've told people you hate grapes.
Oh, I told people I flipping hate grapes.
And our 5th generation, James, does a pretty good job eating
You like
them.
grapes. Yeah.
Actually, he's a pretty good predictor of grapes too. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, the best predictor of grapes ripeness I found are my dogs. Every one of my dogs, when they start eating the grapes, it's like, and I'll start that they won't touch them. When I start eating grapes, I'm like, oh yeah, these are about right. These are almost ready to pick. That's when I noticed that any of my dogs have always started eating the grapes themselves. So yeah, so it's another great indicator. But, so what's the other question?
Okay, a couple more here. Do you ever move wine from one barrel to another?
Well, it depends on the aspect you're looking at. We do rack the wines. So when it comes to a new barrel, a brand new barrel for new oak, the wine will be racked out of that barrel into a neutral barrel. The barrel will be cleaned and it'll go right back into it. So most of the time when we're doing what we call a rack and back, if we're racking the wines out, they usually come out of the barrels and go back to the same barrels. Unless there's something I'm tasting in the wine that, you know, if we taste something that needs a little bit extra, and I'll change the barrel program on that. But we keep our barrel program pretty tight to where the barrels we purchase are already pretty much spoken for. So pretty much they're in the same barrels.
And perfect question to follow that up. Have you ever gotten a barrel that just messes up your grapes?
Oh, yeah. More than once. So my 45, 50 years of experience in this industry hopefully is, you know, drop that down a few levels like that. But there's always a barrel you try. There are barrels I tried. I'll be honest with you. There's a barrel that's one of the primary barrels for this wine. It's called an O barrel. It is a water bent barrel, which I'm not going to get into that. We'd be here way too long. Anyway, I've used that barrel on everything. I buy those barrels to experiment. It trashed the Cabernet I put into it, and to be the same cab we use in our Brutocao cab, it just didn't work. But it loves our Merlot, and it works perfectly. So I'd always buy just a few barrels just for the Merlot program, but it trashed everything else that I put into it that year. So yeah, and that's part of being, you have to experiment. You have to always be looking forward. As I've said a million times, there's not a wine that I'm truly 100% happy with. And I never will be, because there's always something I think we could make better on that wine. And then David slaps me for buying the barrel. Anyway.
Well,
Any more?
no more questions yet.
Cool. All right, well,
Move to
let's
the
pour,
cab.
let's pour some
We'll pour the
Cabernet.
cab. Why don't we see how I'm pouring myself first? That's kind of,
That's smart, though. You got to make sure it's not corked or anything, right? Yeah.
make sure you get it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell a quick grandpa story. Everyone has family members that have funny little things, and we call them grandpa-isms. And can I tell that one? Or you want me to tell
go
it?
ahead. Yeah.
So he used to he had a great little wry sense of humor and a twinkle in his eye, and our mom's the same. And he used to say, you know, and I might get this wrong, I have it backwards. My feet smell and my nose runs. Is that right?
God built me backwards.
God built me backwards.
Yeah.
My feet smell and my nose runs.
Yeah.
That's just something that we all remembered, and yeah. Anyway, he had a lot of them.
Jingle has changed when you're trying to tee off.
Oh yeah, a lot of our stories are about golf. That's for sure.
So he's a big
loved
golfer
golf.
late in life,
Late in
understand,
life,
right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. He did a.
He-
Go ahead.
Yeah, he used to play. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know when he started it, but he would do a charity thing for the Boys and Girls Club in Healdsburg.
Oh,
And he'd play the number of holes of his age that year. And he did it till he was like 75.
75.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
And he got written up in Golf Digest. And he walked
it.
I'll let you finish.
75 holes in one day.
at Healdsburg?
At Healdsburg,
Yeah.
straight up that hill.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, if anybody knows the Healdsburg golf course, it's not a flat.
Built on the side of
Yeah.
the hill.
Yeah. And that one, they call that one hole heart attack hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did it however many times that is, because the 9-hole course. He must have done that 8 times.
8 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a guy with a cart,
With a
though,
cart.
that would,
Yeah,
that
he
would
wouldn't-
take his bag. So he
Yeah.
wasn't carrying his bag
Right.
up that hill.
Yeah.
It's legacy, man.
Yeah, right up was endurance is bliss.
Yeah, I remember he
That
got
was the
written up
headline.
in the Chronicle, too.
In the
San
Chronicle,
Francisco
yeah.
Chronicle.
Bliss endurance. Cool.
Boy, that is dark. And that's something. Looking at behind that label.
So that's, well, part of that is that whole vineyard, well, we got to remember our Brutocao Cabernet for now 8 years straight also has been 90 plus points. And it's that quality of that vineyard, that hillside that we have on that ranch that gives us that structure to start with alone. And then those individual barrels giving that little bit of nuance to it. I can't remember. Was that the first year that we tasted the Missouri oak that we got? That remember all of a sudden we fell in love with that one American oak barrel.
Is that the one from Redu?
Yeah, I think so.
Might have been.
Because that's what it reminds me of when I taste it.
Yeah.
It just had a different. Because the thing about American oak, there's 2 different American oak barrels that we use, and the Redu barrel is one, and then the J.W. Boswell is another, and their special edition. They're 3-year-old barrels. So this is where, when it comes into showcasing the wine, American oak traditionally has a lot of coconut or dill to it that people expect to go. But if you age it out in the yards for 1 more year, instead of being for after 2 years, you do it for 3 years, that extra year of aging and the bacteria working against the oak kind of eliminates that, and you get more of the vanillins coming out and the different characteristics. And that's where, like with the Brutocao Cabernet, you get that tobacco note. That's from that Boswell barrel. But the Redu barrel gives it, there's a vanilla elegance in here. And I know I've talked about a vanilla flower in one of these wines, and that's where that comes from. It just has that, it's a floral note. And I'm not sure what a flower on a vanilla bean smells like, but it reminds me of a white flower with vanilla extract on top of it. And that's why I say vanilla floral, vanilla flower. And that's what I'm thinking about, that sweetness of the vanilla, that caramelized essence, and then that floral note. And it comes through on both the Merlot and the Cab, but I think the Cab has just a touch of that. And it has that nice lushness and that great dark fruit. And I think I'm so proud to always be able to say fruit. And this wine's got great acid. It's got a great mid palate. And it's going to age well. And it's just got this great fruit in it. And it's the same flavors that I taste. That hint of that cranberry that's in there. And that's the signature of that vineyard. Like the Barbera we grow has the blueberry. This has a cranberry note. And it's always in there. And I always love that aspect and look for that.
Yeah.
That's how I know the Cab's right. I know that's in there. I know that's in there. That dark plum is in the Merlot. I know that's when it's kind of ready to pick. So when you taste those fruit flavors and pulling those through into these wines is what makes them special.
I think that our style is to, fruit forward, if you want to say that. But when you say that's going to age, that fruit's going to stay. And some wines, when they age, you lose the fruit. And there's nothing more disappointing than you've aged a wine and you open it and it's a nice big bold big wine, but it's kind of like I'm here for the fruit and it's gone. So I love what you said. This is going to age beautifully and that fruit's going to maintain it.
But here's the main thing about all 3 of these wines. You need to decant these wines. These wines need to be open for 3 or 4 hours for them. When I did the winemaker notes, I tasted these over 2 days because they change so drastically. Because when you first open them, they are very closed up. You don't get a lot out of them. But when they sit for 3 or 4 hours, it makes such a big difference after being open, because we opened these, I think, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, 1:30, something like that. So they've been open for over 4 hours before we taste them today. Or decant them. Put them in, buy a decanter and decant them, and that's going to make a big difference. You know, an hour before dinner, if you decant them, that'll help a lot to do that. Or use some type of an aerator,
yeah.
you know, on that. We can, you know, we call it oaky aeration. Pour yourself half a glass, put your thumb over the bottle, and then shake it up and down. That aerates the bottle, but if it's got sediment in it, it doesn't do you a lot of good. So, you know, decanting's always the best way, but these wines are going to be better for you if you've decanted them like an hour before you're going to enjoy them for sure. And then, or just open the bottle at least 3 to 4 hours before. So, and they're showing so much better because of that. And these larger glasses help too.
The mouthfeel and the finish.
Isn't that? I know. That's really good.
It's like every note. Just. Yeah.
What's the
follow
food?
through.
What's the food?
Okay, I'm going back to Italian. Steak Florentine
Oh,
with a little lemon of the Brutocao lemon olive oil
Yeah.
drizzled over the top
That'd be
at
nice.
the end.
Yeah. Florentine is with the rosemary.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of just grill it along with it sitting on top, or you know, you don't
Or
really
you spoon it back over the top, and
yeah, you don't really chop it up. You could, I suppose.
You
but
could.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's got all the
Yeah. It
Tiny
just
seasonings
gets the
and
essence
stuff.
in there. All right. What about you, David?
Along that same line, actually, I took one of these home a few weeks ago, and Leslie and I grilled a tri-tip.
I was
had-
gonna. Yeah.
We had this with a tri-tip, and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do that, or actually maybe just do a steak, a regular steak, and try it that way too.
So I'm gonna, because I was gonna say steak, but I mean, with this would work with pasta too. It's because of that bright fruit.
Oh, yeah.
This would work beautifully with
Yeah.
maybe a touch of a spice, like you were talking about that pasta earlier. But yeah, it would work with that. What do you
that penne Sangiovese we used to get at Luna Cafe.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking about this
Oh,
wine.
yeah.
Yeah.
This wine would kick butt
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
because that spicy sausage on it. For me, I mean, I'll go very traditional. I do a reverse sear on a prime rib roast, and it's just coated in fresh herbs, garlic. Put it on a smoker, smoke it at really low to get it up to about below rare, just about to 110 degrees, and then pull it off and then sear it and crust it up afterwards. And it's one of those things to where like that. And I mean, for my favorite steak is the New York steak, because New York steaks are very flavorful meat. Even a sirloin, because they're very flavorful. They're not fatty, but there's a lot of flavor in them. And you want something that's very flavorful to even go with this. I mean, you can do this with eggplant parmesan, I think, if you want to go really Italian, but some really, and even, I'll be honest with you, I would do this with salmon all day long.
Yeah, you could.
I would grill with, and I'm going to be
Grilled, you gotta
specific
grill it.
because I've had this problem before. Pacific salmon, king salmon, which is very fatty, or a fatty like bluefin tuna, a fattier fish like that, and get a nice char mark. Because the fruit profile of this would work really well with that, also. But yeah, I'm thinking about. I'm going to the coast in about a month. I'm like going. I got to go to Luna now. But yeah,
What about like cacio e pepe?
there you go.
That would work.
But if you need something that's kind of got a little, it's a little bold. You want something that's a little bold, and it has a lot of flavor to it itself. That's why I'm thinking, prime rib's great, but you got to really crust it up, or a ribeye. But you got to have. I think you need those cuts of steak that have a lot less fat, but more flavor to them. That'll add a lot more to it. That's why you're talking about the Florentine style. That type of thing works really well.
Yeah.
T-bone. Porterhouse.
Yeah.
That would work. That would be like all over this wine, type of a deal. Or like I said, crackers and cheese. Anything works.
By itself. And that's, I'm enjoying it right here. So,
But I think that's stylistically. I think that's part of our legacy.
Yeah.
Keep pounding that word, but that's our legacy. Yeah. Our wines drink well on their own. They don't need anything else with them, and they're enjoyable to where they are their own meal. Their experience with friends and family, like us sitting around the table here talking with all of our friends, on YouTube right now. it's that same thing. You enjoy them this way, and then when you start adding food, the experience gets more because
and it
all
changes.
of us all of us have open kitchens where everybody when you have people over, we're all in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the kitchen. So as you're cooking, handing bites off and drinking the wine, that's what our wines are about. That's what the Brutocao and Bliss wines are all about, all day long. So for sure, that's cool.
Any grandpa stories?
I could tell another one kind of golf related.
Okay, golf. Yep.
And this was he took up golf kind of late in life. Prior to that, his big passion was fishing.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think he took up golf in like the early 60s. And when he takes on something, he goes like just full bore. And he basically gave up fishing. I never saw him go fishing ever again once he started golf. And then everything was about golf. Every vacation revolved around golf. Right. Even in his den at home, his bookshelves that were filled with fishing books prior to golf now had all golf books in them. So he was really into it, and I think he's the one that got our dad into golf too.
They played together, and I was telling you guys this story. I'll tell it to the group, but I was going through some of Mom's books up in the library a couple months ago, and I pulled out this golf instruction book. I don't remember. It was a famous author, but anyway, I opened it up, and in the front cover, it was inscribed by Grandpa. It says, "To Len, my golfing buddy, just to keep it fair." And it was like, hey, I'm better than you. You need to read this book, and now you'll be better than me. But that was sweet. It was really sweet, and I'm getting chills. It was really sweet to hear our grandpa on, Mom's dad called him his golfing buddy. That was just awesome. I just loved. I'm tearing up thinking about it. We were lucky. I'll say this. I said this sadly, I think at Dad's funeral, that they always talk about your dream foursome, and there goes my phone. My dream foursome was we got to play with Nono, so Dad's dad, Grandpa, Dad, and one of us. So 4 of us. 3 generations playing golf, and then we replicated that with our kids at times. So yeah, it was good. Golf's been great with Grandpa, and he definitely got us into it.
So what's your favorite memory of Irv? Do you have just one, or that stands out today?
Gosh, the one that Lenny told actually about playing the number of holes of his age on his birthday every year, that was pretty special. Another one that this was more personal to me. We played a course. Gosh, when was this? This was back in the 80s, I think. We played this course over in Santa Cruz called Pasatiempo.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the very last hole goes over this big ravine. And I'm not a great golfer. I hit a good shot now and then, but on that hole, I hit my shot and cleared that ravine and landed on the green. And Grandpa, he was just so impressed. He just thought that was the greatest shot he ever saw, And so then a couple weeks later, he sends me a card, and I still have this card somewhere. I got to find it, but he said in there something like, I was really impressed with how you cleared that ravine with your shot to the green. And he says, by the way, I cleared that ravine too. The ball was in my pocket as I drove over the bridge in my cart.
That's funny.
Well, sitting next to me, you're a great golfer, so don't worry about it. Lynn, what do you got? What's your great memory?
He was always just so casually active, I'll put it. He liked to take walks and walk his ranch, walk in Healdsburg, up in the redwoods, and where his house was up there. I remember visiting him one day with a bunch of college buddies. We drove out from Colorado, went to see him, and he took us on a walk up in the redwoods. And we're just like huffing and puffing. He's just going.
Going, yeah.
80-something years old at the time. He just loved
golf course.
Loved the land and loved everything about it, and just loved the fresh air.
So now, do your guys' kids get to hang out with him much? I'm just thinking. Did you?
I remember him.
You remember him a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Daniel and
Yeah.
Katie probably do. I think.
I think I might have been 5 or 6 when he
Yeah,
passed.
he passed in '97, I
Oh,
think.
okay. I was a little
96 or
older.
7.
96
I
or
was in
7.
96. He was
Yeah.
he was 97. He was born in
8 or 9.
1899.
Okay, so you died in
Oh, okay.
1996 then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
He had when he retired, and they had the place out in Palm Springs area, and this is cool. Our other grandpa, or Nono, had a condo in this place, and they'd all play together, and Dad would come out and we'd come out, and they had a golf cart. They all had their own golf carts, and Grandpa, he always wanted to go faster than Nono. And like when you play, it was 27 holes. So if you played 18, you had to come back about whatever it would be, a couple miles back. And Nono would always beat him back, and he just grinded on him. So he ended up getting somehow he got some high-powered thing in a souped-up cart. And I think I might have been with him the day he put it in gear, and he passed Nono, and he was just so excited, so excited. But, yeah, we had a lot of fun playing golf. He and I played a lot of golf. Yeah, he used to. I guess I'll keep talking. He had headlights on that on the golf cart, and we'd go out to Palm Springs, and we played 54 holes one day. It's not 75, but we played 54 in a cart, and it was dark. And he put the headlights on so you could see the ball. He was standing behind me, and he'd say, "All right, I'll watch it so you can kind of just see where it goes." And and we would play till like 9 o'clock at night. And he said I was insatiable about how much I loved golf and wanted to keep playing. Insatiable means you can't get enough of it, and it was really him. He was the one that was insatiable.
Make it keep playing, right?
But I loved it too. So good times. Good times.
So maybe we'll save Dad's visit to Healdsburg.
Yeah, that's a good one for
that
Dad.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good
yeah, that's a
story.
better one.
So part of the legacy series is we're going to keep honoring family members throughout each vintage as we roll through the vintages. The wines are all going to keep coming the same way, the same barrel program. Well, I wouldn't say the same barrel program because every year is a little bit different. So every vintage is always a little bit different, but every vintage is going to be to honor somebody else in the legacy of what's happened here, what you guys have built here. And I guess we're coming towards the end of our time a little bit, but so do we have any other questions that
We do, and kind of what you're talking about now. I'll start with that one. Will the legacy line be available every year, or will, when quality warrants it, like a vintage port?
I think it's both. I think right now we know we have a few in the barrel that will happen, but I also think that at the same time, and I think that's one of the luxuries I've had as a winemaker here at Brutocao, is that if it doesn't seem to matter, if it doesn't seem to make the grade, that we say no, we're not going to do it that year, and we skip it. But right now, you will see legacy for at least, this is the 20, the 21, and the 22 are definitely going to be happening. And then we'll see how the 23 is. We'll be tasting that here soon and make a decision on that. But it will be a every year release for right now for the next 3 years. So this is the first of the 3 for sure. So
Do you want to talk about the vault a little bit?
Yeah,
And
why don't you?
the idea of the.
You want me to? You want to?
You're on camera.
Well, I'm on camera.
You have a microphone.
I was going to actually go there. And part of this is, of course, we're in business, right? We do want to sell these wines, but we also want to see how these wines, age over time as well. And we want to put them away for our best family of customers, probably all of you that are watching or that are still watching, if anyone's still watching. But so we're going to put them in the vault. And the vault will, at some point, and Kevin and I and all of us are still working on this, but at some point, we'll just stop selling these wines at a certain sales level, and we'll put them away and be able to kind of re-release them after Hoss and David try them and say, hey, this has changed a little bit. Let's go back to this in a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it might be, and we'll go back to it. But in the meantime, there'll be other wines for sale. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to be able to, taste this now, buy more, please buy more. But in 3 years, you'll still be able to find it more than likely. Because we've put it away, and it won't be for sale to the public. Obviously, you great loyal customers. If you want it, Chris will find a bottle somewhere. But our goal is to have it in 2, 3, 4 years. I think that's kind of where we're at, Kevin. You think? Yeah.
Okay. Quick follow up. Same person. Uh, do you think the legacy releases will be for other varietals, or will you continue with is this the lineup?
That's a good question.
If I find something I think that warrants it, I'll bring it to the family to look at. Right now, these are the ones. These are the 3. This is what we're doing. It makes the most sense for what we're doing right now. Are we going to add a white to this? I don't see that at this point in time. This is different. These are wines that are made to age for long periods of time. We still have our reserve Chardonnay. I don't see making a Chardonnay legacy wine at this point in time, because we want these wines are to be a legacy on their own, to put it a different way. But right now, this is what it is. But if we did do a special Quadriga one time, somewhere down the road. We've planted some very fun grapes with the Alianico del Vachora we planted. We've replanted our Sangiovese and the Barbera. We've some special clones of those. So who knows? Maybe a Quadriga will reach the legacy level someday. I'll be retired by then. When those grapes hit that level, either that or I'll be a legacy myself because I'm going to be 80 years old on the crutch coming in here or something.
You got to make the reserve Sangiovese in 2032.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, for right now, this is what it is. It's unless we find something special. And if you see something other than these 3 come out, then you know it's really going to be something special.
That's a good point.
Well, and even outside of legacy, there might be one-offs in the future of other things that are special, but not part of the legacy collection.
Yeah, we do have some stuff coming down the pike. Some, we're looking at just to keep some people in Arkansas happy. We might have a Malbec or a Cab Franc in the future coming out, but there's some different things that we've tasted that we might just do like 50 cases of. It's a tasting room only kind of wine. So there's some other things coming. But legacy, you're looking at legacy right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Study hard.
What are the? Sorry, it's hard to get through all these chat questions. What are the age abilities of these 3 wines? What are you kind of seeing here at this point in time? That could change.
As far as ageability,
Yeah.
all these wines are made to lay down for long, long periods of time. They're not made to. It's not like in 5 years they're going to go away. They're going to be, the packaging, everything we've done with these wines is all about ageability. So you're talking about wines that'll age 20 plus years with ease. And the whole idea is that the fruit's still going to be there in 20 years with these wines.
But as the guy that really wants to sell them, I would say crack open one every 6 months.
Always.
Right? Because it is fun to see how wines change. And I'm joking, but I'm serious. It's fun to see how wines change. It's fun to see how they change in 5 hours of being aerated. I mean, and they do, and we all know that. So I think every 6 months to a year, it'd be great to try them, because again, they will change and change for the better more than likely.
As winemakers and industry people, do you enjoy films or series like Drops of God?
Oh, I watched that show. That was great. Yeah.
What's it on?
No idea.
It's on Apple, I
No,
think.
don't
Yeah.
know it.
I live it.
Interesting
I don't
show.
need to watch it. That's right. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
Good question. Man. That's we'll have to watch it. I'll watch
Yeah.
it. It's good, huh?
Dan and Dion were the
Okay.
ones that turned me
All
on
right.
to it.
Yeah.
What was the one where the guy faked all the bottle labels and he went to jail? That was great.
Yeah, that was a good.
That was a good documentary.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good question.
Okay. Carolyn Seifer's enjoying these wines tonight with sourdough, 4 kinds of cheese, manchego, smoked Gouda, Humboldt fog, goat cheese, and gorgonzola,
Wow.
sliced apples, grapes, garlic olive oil, and truffle honey.
Throw the grapes out. It's great.
I want to go to your house.
I wonder
Sliced apples. We always forget about that, but different apples, like we have like a Granny, Granny Smith, a really tart apple, and they get those type of apples with wines. It's always a lot of fun with cheese.
Yeah, I bet yeah,
it's great.
I wonder how many people opened 1 or 2 or 3. I know.
Show of hands. How many people actually opened a bottle? That's what I want to know.
I know my good buddy Brian opened all 3. He told me. Brian Flynn.
There are several people here that I know have, and a lot of people are enjoying at least one.
And please let us know, in the comments. Come back to us. Let us know what you think about these wines. What do you think about this series? I'm very curious as a winemaker how your experience and what your flavor profiles you're getting out of these.
Someone's asking to hold the bottle up, so I don't.
What you had a
Go, Vanna.
You had
I have no idea if this is.
Maybe I'll just put it out there while Kevin's doing that. Like, what would Grandpa think about all this?
Yeah.
Grandpa Bliss, and what would he say? What would he think? So.
Sorry, it won't focus. But
It's on the website.
it's on the website.
Yeah. So what do you think, Grandpa? If he
First, I think he would be thanking God for everything here that we've been blessed with, and him farming and growing and moving us down to us, and then our kids getting involved and our grandkids getting involved, keeping it all in the family for, like I said, over 80 years.
Yeah.
And our extended family that are joining us, and wine lovers around the world that would like this wine. I think he would be pretty impressed, and about, on the bottle, him being on the bottle, he'd say, them some very kind words.
Stole mine.
Oh, did I?
You stole mine. Yeah.
Thanks for them
Sorry,
kind words.
That's it. Thanks for them
Kind
kind
words,
words.
yeah.
Is that what you were going to say?
No.
Yeah.
I was going to say, he'd probably look at that picture of him on the bottle and say, "Oh, well, let's look at my picture."
He used to say that you'd compliment him on a golf shot, and he'd say, "Thanks for them kind words." That was mine. One thing I'll say is our families. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. Back in the 40s, he moved his family out of the city and moved them up to God's country and raised his family and raised Mom and Aunt Carol and Aunt Andy and Grandma on a ranch. And if you talk about legacy, we all did the same. We were all in LA in the construction business and commuting. And I used to drive 2 hours to get to jobs in Orange County, and because we were in the construction business. And we moved up, and Tammy and I moved with the boys in '94, and you moved in '96, and I think you moved in '98. We all had that same little,
I think that story's for another time, or perhaps another vintage.
But
that's legacy.
It follows what we all did what Grandpa did, and for the family and for our own selves.
But don't you think about the first day he sat on the toll road and looked across that piece of property, and to what it is now?
Yeah.
I mean, would he be saying that would have made a great golf course? Or would he already be? I mean, I think he would be very proud of what you guys have done here and what's happening. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But I mean, deep down inside, there's a lot with the addition of the Contento Ranch and all that. But I say Bliss is our home ranch. It always is. It all starts with Bliss. So the start of the legacy is Irv, and that's why he's the first one on the bottom.
That's right.
Yep.
So that's the whole idea here.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be very proud of what you guys have accomplished and done here.
All of them, and you
yeah.
too, and you too, Hoss. Obviously, couldn't do it without you. So
That's good. I'll need a raise next week.
Okay.
Anyway,
we'll pay you in wine.
We have some Cab Franc,
the best Cab Franc you ever grown.
not from Arkansas, by the way. Other people are saying yes. some people are missing your crazy shirts. So we're going to see some of these in the future
Maybe
tips.
we'll see. It depends how much more weight I lose if they still fit.
We have a couple different people open the 21 Coro because they didn't get these. They haven't didn't get these in
That's okay.
time.
It all works.
Yeah, the 21's great.
This
Sold
is
out.
the first Coro with this Coro has Petit Verdot in it. I think it's the first one that has Petit Verdot,
Yeah.
which is so for a lot of people don't realize we grow Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Carignan and Petit Syrah, and they're all used as blenders. They're not individual wines. We're looking at actually bottling the Malbec and the Petit Verdot both, right?
We like those for
both of those for maybe
one of those
possible like a
small
50 case
50 case lots or something.
thing to do there. So the Cab Franc, we're going to get our first harvest of Cab Franc this year. It'll be coming in, and then we're going to have some, here and there, there's new exciting things coming down the road. But, you have to keep tuning in and keep buying wine, and it'll happen. So
We have someone asking if they'll be included in the wine club package.
more than likely, we'll see.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a great question, but
I think they'll be at least they'll be available to add and customize into your package. We'll see if they go to the standard.
We're looking at doing like these wines. We're thinking of wine club members is why we're doing those wines. I'll be honest with you. They're there for you guys, for who are our mainstream, who keep us going, and for the reason why I keep doing what I do. And so that's the wine club members that those wines are available for. So if you're King Red, more than likely you will see those in the future. These wines, we're talking a couple years down the road before they're going to be bottled and available. But yeah, so, we're getting there. We do have something special coming for you, I think, this fall, if I remember right.
I didn't know if we were going to talk about that.
I don't know.
but yeah.
We'll talk about it later, but it's
actually
a nice. We have a nice
10,
little
man.
thing coming that
It's going to be a perfect 10.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right, Brian?
These are,
Yeah.
but that will be in the package.
Yes. Yes.
Just a little. Every once in a while, we find a gem that's not Mendocino County, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway. So cool. I mean, you guys, any last thoughts about Irv and the Legacy program? You guys want to make sure that we didn't hit? I mean, this is you can tell this is an emotional family thing. It's very important to everyone here. And as I always say, family's important. So, any last thoughts? Len, we're going to start with you.
No, start that way.
No, it's just great. It's just great to be able to honor Grandpa and keep it going with, 4 generations, and the 5th is on its way, so we'll have to change the label. But no, it's just great. Couldn't be happier.
Open the Field Note Fridays tomorrow. You'll see them hard at work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Child labor.
5th is already working.
Yeah, they're working.
They're going.
Good. We need it.
David, any last thoughts?
He was just a neat guy. I really miss him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great role model.
Yeah.
Not a great golfer, but better than me.
That's great.
Down the middle every time.
Yeah.
Down the middle, Irv.
Down the middle Irv.
Hit it about 175, always down the middle.
Yeah. Whether it was in his pocket or actually down the middle. Is that what you're saying? Okay. So do that. So we're going to close this all up with our Legacy edition. Please let other people know. Subscribe. Make sure you're on our channel. Refer this to other people to take a look at, just to get to know. This is the best way to get to know the Brutocao family, really, and the Bliss family, all together in one night. And as always, it's been our pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. And,
Cheers.
I'm going to go with the Coro.
Yeah, me too.
All right, on with it.
It's a lot of fun tonight. It's a fun wine, but salute.
That's all.
And thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Good night.
Thank you.
Done. I think that went really well, actually. I think it went great.
I'm not even